Everyone, this video is on proportion word problems. So Micah can eat 21 hot dogs in 6 minutes. She wants to know how many minutes M would it take her to eat 35 hot dogs if she can keep up the same pace. How many minutes would Micah need to eat 35 hot dogs? So my suggestion is to always come up with an equation. So for this situation, I might want to do hot dogs divided by minutes. So 21 divided by 6. And when I do 21 divided by 6, I get 3.5. I need to remember that the letter on the bottom is always the one that goes with the number. So when I write my equation, it's going to be H equals 3.5 M. So now I look at what the problem is asking me to solve for. It wants how many minutes, and it gives me the number of hot dogs. So the number of hot dogs replaces H. So 35 equals 3.5 M. To get rid of multiplying by 3.5, I have to divide both sides by 3.5. Those cancel. So I would need to do 35 divided by 3.5, and I get an answer of 10. So 10 minutes. Stan's cookie recipe makes 24 cookies and calls for exactly 384 sprinkles. He is wondering how many sprinkles P he will need to make 60 cookies. He assumes each cookie will have the same number of sprinkles. How many sprinkles does Stan need for 60 cookies? So this time, just because the number that was bigger was sprinkles, I'm going to do sprinkles divided by cookies. So that would mean that in this situation, I'm going to do 384 divided by 24. And when I do that, I get 16. So again, the number goes with the letter on the bottom. So my equation would be S equals 16C. This time they gave me C. I know what C is. C is 60. So that means to solve this, I'm just going to need to do 16 times 60. Which is 960. So 960 sprinkles. Lillian used 4 dark power crystals to raise 14 zombie soldiers. She wants to know how many zombie soldiers Z she can raise with 10 dark power crystals. So how many zombies with 10 power crystals? So that means we know the power crystals. So I'm going to, again, I'll do this time zombies divided by power crystals, because once again, the bigger number was the 14. And they did not specify the order that we had to divide. So 14 divided by 4, 3.5. Once again, the letter on the bottom goes with the number. So my equation here is going to be Z equals 3.5 P. All right, well, we know what P is. P was the power crystals. So that means that Z is equal to 3.5 times the number of power crystals, which was 10. And just to show that it's 35 on the calculator, I'll do that. 3.5 times 10, 35. And that for 35 zombies. Yoku is putting on sunscreen. He uses 2 milliliters to cover 50 centimeters squared of his skin. He wants to know how many milliliters of sunscreen he needs to cover 325 centimeters squared of his skin. How many milliliters of sunscreen does Yuko need to cover 325 centimeters of skin? So milliliters, they're saying, is C. So I'm going to do, in this case, centimeters squared divided by milliliters. They're telling me to use C for the milliliters, okay? And for centimeters squared, we're just going to use maybe X. So for the centimeters squared, we were given the number 50. And for the milliliters, how many milliliters of sunscreen C? So milliliters are telling us to use the letter C. We're going to put the 2. So that would give you 25. So that would mean that your equation then is going to be the bottom letter C with the 25. So that means this is going to be X equals 25C. Now the centimeters squared, again, for us is going to be the letter X. It's a little confusing because they made us use C for milliliters. So X is the centimeters squared. X is the centimeters squared. So we know that that's 325 equals 25 times C. So to solve this, you have to divide both sides by 25. So we need to do 325 divided by 25. That would go down there. I ran out of space. So going to here, 325 divided by 25, we get 13. So that is how you would do proportional word problems. Hopefully that video was helpful. Thank you very much.